What is up, Waffle Gang? My name is Mark, and today we're covering some r/am I the butthole? The subreddit where you get to decide if they are the butthole or not. And just a huge thank you for the support, for being here today, and with that being said, let's just crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from Bridesmaid Drama. Am I the arsehole for asking my sister to step down from being my bridesmaid because of her eating disorder / weight? Can I judge this one right now, please? Oh god. I know it sounds bad when summed up that way, but I couldn't think of a better, more descriptive title, so please hear me out before judging. My 25 female sister Julia, 28 female, was overweight growing up, while the rest of us, 5 girls, no brothers, were always petite. No one in our family ever treated her badly for her weight, though my mum did try to help her diet several times throughout our childhood for purely health reasons. She was hospitalised for her eating disorder for the first time when she was 18, and she's been in and out of treatment facilities since then. She's been recovered several times over the years, but it's never been permanent. Pre-pandemic, Julia seemed to be on the recovery kick again. She looked healthy, seemed to be eating normally, and even asked if I wanted some of her old, smaller clothes she was giving away. She had some nice stuff when she was thinner. As I mentioned, the rest of us are pretty petite. I was hopeful that she could keep it together and felt okay about asking her to be bridesmaid at that point. That was the last time I saw her though, February 2020, until I saw her Friday for Christmas. Julia has gained a lot of weight in that time, probably 20 pounds, which is a lot because she's short. This is a huge red flag to me because her prior relapses have been preceded by weight gain, which seems to trigger another relapse. So the way I see it, there are two possibilities from here. The first is that she relapses and loses all the weight, in which case she might not even show up for the wedding. She's missed big family events because of being in residential treatment before, or maybe even worse, she continued to gain weight, in which case things like dress fittings could be a nightmare for her body image. In either scenario, I think it makes more sense for her not to be a bridesmaid. That way she can wear whatever she wants, be skinny or fat, show up or not, and it won't affect the day as a whole. So I texted her after Christmas to ask if she was doing okay. Sure enough, she admitted she's been having body image issues since gaining weight during lockdown. I kindly asked her to step down from being a bridesmaid, explaining that was for her own good and I was only doing this because I cared about her. She seemed upset but agreed to step down. Well, now our dad is furious with me, saying Julia is heartbroken. She of course hasn't brought anything up to me directly, that's how she always is. My mum and sisters are all on my side here and agree Julia not being a bridesmaid is what's best for everyone. Julia has always been my dad's favourite, so I wasn't worried about being in the wrong here until my fiance said I was wrong and basically called me an arsehole for even bringing up her weight with her. Julia for her part now refuses to even engage the conversation and is upset with my dad of all people for talking to me about her private feelings, so I figured I'd ask here, am I the arsehole? Now there is a bit of an edit to this post too, so we will cover that after the comments, and we need to think about as well when we're going into this that the comments may be done before these edits were in place too. And the thing, I know the whole post is an absolute crap show, but the really thing that jumped out to me is where it said, I kindly asked her to step down from being a bridesmaid, explaining it was for her own good. Now, I think this was over text message as well. Can you imagine this girl receiving that and then looking at herself in the mirror and going, she's done this because of my weight? How damaging is that? We know how damaging eating disorders can be, and it's just heartbreaking for someone to be receiving that. Knowing she's got 3 other sisters who's going to be bridesmaid for her 4th sister's wedding and she can't attend it now because of her eating disorder. Imagine how damaging that will be. But Kotsui says, you're the arsehole, you basically highlighted all her self-esteem issues as reasons why you don't want her as your maid of honour. I think what's worse is this comment. And quotes, that way she can wear whatever she wants, be skinny or fat, show up or not, and it won't affect the day as a whole. And then says harsh, hope you didn't say that to her face. And Texas World says in quotes, that way she can wear whatever she wants, skinny or fat, show up or not, and it won't affect the day as a whole. And then says, oh my god, you're the arsehole. You're such a selfish arsehole, I can't even believe it. Eating disorders can be lethal. You don't care about your sister's health, you just care how it affects you. Thank God for your dad, because you, your mother and sisters have about a teaspoon of empathy between you. And Maximum System says you're the arsehole. If you were concerned for her, you would have just told her that you wouldn't be offended if she preferred to step down if being in the wedding was creating any extra pressure. You could have told her that if you wanted her there and be happy, you would support her in whatever that means. But you wanted her out of the wedding so it doesn't create a headache for you if she relapses or can't maintain her size. It was not motivated by her or her health. Why didn't you anticipate this before asking her? This was perhaps the worst possible outcome. Now she has a visible sign of her failure tied to her weight and health, which has led to her exclusion from her sisters even before a relapse. Very insensitive and a risky choice on your part. Also, you should be able to reflect as an adult whether the dieting during childhood was a really better choice for her health, because I'm mighty suspicious of that. What health issues did she have that require a diet? A clogged artery at 15? And Eternity says you're the arsehole and a hypocrite too. You didn't have the respect for her to communicate beyond the text asking her to drop out of your wedding party. A conversation which really should have been done in person if you actually care. And now you're getting mad at her for not wanting to talk to you. Not only that, but your objections aren't because of her health. You're bothered by the chance that she could inconvenience you by checking into a rehab facility or by needing her dress refitted. Not a single one of you cares about your sister to actually talk to her like an adult she is. You're just trying to make decisions for her like she's still 5 years old. Edit, and your edits make you look even worse. You keep going me. How hard it was for you to deal with a mentally ill sibling. How hard it is for you. How much you want. You aren't bothering to even think about her, even in your edits. I honestly feel sorry for her having a sister like you. Wow, what do you guys think of this story? Is there a way around it, and how would you deal with it? I'm really lost for words on this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And our next story is from Jane Lee. Am I the arsehole for insisting my destination wedding be child-free? After years of dating, my boyfriend proposed and we set off planning the wedding. Our families are spread out across the United States and there is no singular location that would be convenient for the majority. With this in mind, we chose a state no one lives in that is central to all but family on the West Coast. This location was by the water, and since everyone was travelling, we chose to make it a more adult evening. Open bar, loud music, no kids. I understand the hardship of travelling with kids, and I also understand the hardship of finding childcare. We weighed the no kids decision heavily. At our venue, we had to pay per chair, per plate, and would have had to pay for a babysitting service. This information paired with a waterside venue and the stress of watching children during a momentous life event sealed the no kids decision. This did not go over well. We had pushback from multiple people, but the most extreme reaction came from my older half brother with 2 kids. He lives on the opposite side of the country. My older brother is much older. His ex-wife, current wife, biological mum and other extended family live close to him. When I told him the wedding was child-free, he tried to negotiate. For months he would call me, my dad or my fiance separately with suggestions. The closer it got to the wedding, the more it escalated. My niece at the time was under 3 and my brother said she would be disappointed by not being invited to attend her aunt's wedding. He bought plane tickets for himself and my niece and asked when the rehearsal dinner would be, since they would be attending. When I reminded him the wedding was child-free, he wanted me to write a formal disinvitation to share with the airline in order to obtain a refund. I'd never heard of this being grounds for a flight reimbursement. His wife never planned on coming to the wedding and was always planning to watch their young son. My brother insisted that watching his son and daughter would be too much for his wife alone. Other family members were available to watch his daughter and he declined. Regardless, he said they would have to leave the wedding early so my niece would be in bed on time. He also said he was never planning on travelling for the wedding, just for the family reunion. I've gotten a mixed feedback on this, so I want an outside opinion. Am I the arsehole for not accommodating my brother and niece at my child-free wedding? You know, this is going to be a not the arsehole in this situation. We've seen weddings before where people have child-free weddings, and you know, if that's what you want, then that's your wedding, that's your day. You can tell people, and if you bring one child along, then it opens up a whole floodgate for other complaints. But also at the same time, if you're going to have a child-free wedding, I'm not sure what the turnout would be like at that wedding, you know, because many people do have children, so can they attend a wedding such a distance away? So I think OP would just have to be prepared for that. However, not the arsehole in this situation, I think. But Numtini says not the arsehole, but you should understand and accept that everyone who's a parent probably won't be attending. Yeah, that's what I was saying. And E. Jane Lee, the OP, says, I'm okay with this, I understand. Our family actually held a reunion about a year prior to our wedding with kids involved. I love kids and hope all will be able to gather together in the future. I just didn't feel like it's the right time or place for the youngest. I think that's absolutely fine. And Queen Oreo says, not the arsehole, he knew it was child free and tried to bully you. And Arizona says, not the arsehole, child free is child free and it's your wedding. Exceptions aren't being made for anyone else. Why would he expect one? And one thing that did jump out into my head about the whole plane ticket thing, as a disinvitation, is that really a thing? Do people expect that? The airlines expect that. Scuba CC says, not the arsehole, you can have any kind of wedding you want. However, if you create a wedding that is difficult for people to attend, you have to be okay with them declining to attend. I'm not travelling without my children at their ages, and I'm certainly not travelling somewhere and leaving them with a stranger. So travelling with my children and needing childcare when I get there would require me to bring childcare with me and pay for their travel expenses. And that's assuming I'd be able to rope in a friend or relative and not also have to pay for them for their time. Too much work for anyone's wedding, including a sibling. Your brother is being a major arsehole about it though. And OP replies saying, once again, I get that. We had a hard time with the decision. We have a lot of kids around between family and friends. We didn't feel we could provide a safe and fun space for them. And you know, there was a comment straight after, and this popped into my head, and it's from Mila, who says, given the recent thread about a tragedy at a wedding involved distracted adults, a small child and a body of water, this sounds like a sensible idea. Otherwise you might end up back here asking whether or not you should be allowed to celebrate your anniversary. Yes, and I remember that story. There was like a whole mixed bag of opinions there. Let's not get into that one again. Wow. But what do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from I Don't Want a Dog. Am I the arsehole for being upset that my future father-in-law got my 26 male fiance, 26 female, a puppy for Christmas? My fiance, whom I've been with for 5 years, and I spent Christmas with her family. It was me, her parents and her 2 brothers. All throughout this year she's talked about getting a dog. She loves animals more than people, and she felt it'd be nice to have a dog since we'd both be working from home for presumably a long time. I also like animals and had dogs growing up, but I don't think we are right now in a place where we should get a dog. We both work a lot and live in a relatively small apartment. We like to travel, so having a dog could cut into that, and outside of quarantine neither of us at home, for aside from early mornings and late nights. The nearest dog park is 45 minutes away, so a dog wouldn't be able to socialise, and we're trying to plan our wedding in a small amount of free time we have. For all of those reasons, I didn't think it would be fair or responsible for us to get a dog. That, and I really just didn't want a dog right now. My fiance's family already knew she wanted a dog. When discussing gifts together with my future in-laws, I explicitly asked them to not get a dog for Christmas. They said they wouldn't. We woke up Christmas morning to the sound of barking, and guess what my future father-in-law got us? A puppy. When I asked why, he said that his daughter really wanted it, so he got it. My fiance was excited and I was upset. After literally one day, I'm already tired of the dog. Everyone could read that I was upset about it, and my fiance even told me that I should be happy that we have a new addition to our family. I said that we couldn't have a dog right now, so we needed to find him a new family. She got so upset. She told me that this is something I knew she wanted, and I'm being stubborn about having to make a few changes for a new dog. We got into an argument and ended up leaving her family early. Afterwards, I was accused of ruining her Christmas by her father and her. Her mother, however, is on my side and said she had no idea why her husband thought it was a good idea. I hate it when people don't think these things through. OP was totally right in the situation. You know, they was thinking about their time, they was thinking about the closest park, about socializing the dog, and, you know, thinking about their marriage, which is upcoming and it's going to take a lot of time. They was thinking about all the things that will have a negative impact on the dog, not just getting wrapped up in the excitement of having a new addition in the family. It's not all about that. It's about the dog's life too. So absolutely not the arsehole in this situation. I mean, many people would love a dog. I would love a dog. I've always grew up with dogs around me. Ever since I was very young, we've always had a dog. But living in my own place, would I like a dog? Sure I would. But would it fit around my life right now? Absolutely not. I want to travel at some point. I want to go and do my own things, and it wouldn't be fair to leave the dog in kennels or leave the dog at home. It's just not fair on the dog. So I hate it when people totally disregard those things. But Queen of Swords says, not the arsehole, getting the dog is a huge life decision and involves the two of you as a couple, not just her. And Calypso says, not the arsehole, you don't gift someone a puppy when their entire household isn't on board. You explicitly said to not get her one. Your father-in-law is an arsehole and your fiance is just in puppy love. You two need to sit down and go over again all of the reasons this isn't a good idea. These aren't small adjustments. You didn't ruin anything, your father-in-law did. The puppy can stay at his house. Rambler USA says, not the arsehole, a dog is a big decision and should have been something you and the fiance agreed upon. Breed, timing, size and living arrangements matter. Your landlord may not be of the same mindset as the father-in-law. Hope the in-law intrusion is not an omen for the future. And Terry says, not the arsehole, also the wedding planning should get put on hold until you make sure the two of you can make it through the next 6 months or so. I can virtually guarantee you'll be expected to contribute to the dog's care pretty quickly. Now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What would you do in that situation? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from Ruined Christmas 546. Am I the arsehole for convincing my family to kick out my ill cousin out on Christmas? I have a cousin named Elle. Elle is a good person. Everyone loves her, but sometimes she's a bitch. People always want her attention, but the thing is, she never reciprocates that energy. She constantly has people ringing her up and texting her, doesn't give a fuck and always replies about 5 days later. She never tries to socialise, people are never allowed in her room, her curtains are always closed. She sleeps in all day and does nothing. She acts like nothing matters. She's negative as hell. My family believes Elle is ill. Everyone does. She's lethargic, has gotten weaker. Every time she stands up, she sways because of her vision goes black. Has bruises all over her body. She's a mess. She loses weight from time to time. Doesn't have a healthy diet. She looks like she's on the brink of death and she's kind of scary. The day before Christmas, she woke up at 3 PM, ate crisps, drank a monster drink, ate only one exact fucking spring roll and a lot of sweets. That was her meal for the day. Doesn't leave the house either. We've tried to get her to a doctor, but she doesn't give a damn. She never does. We've begged her. We even ignored her for 2 fucking months because she didn't care either. When we ignored her, she continued on with her life. Didn't even spare us a glance. Her health has declined over the last 6 fucking years and she doesn't care. I'm surprised she's still alive. This year, my family held Christmas at my aunt's home, Elle's mother. We came over to Elle's house a week before Christmas. Elle's house is large, but didn't have enough space for all of us. Elle's room is big and her family decided they'd let all the kids sleep there and bring in another bed. Elle was obviously fucking pissed and didn't allow it, but it happened anyways. Elle didn't want a bunch of kids in her room, so my aunt compromised sending her somewhere else for the week. I thought this was a good idea because Elle never spends time with us anyways. She grabs her presents on Christmas and leaves to her room. I have to admit, in the moment it felt like we didn't need her. She never contributes to the family. Elle disagreed, the family did as well, but after my aunt and I convinced the whole family, Elle left. It's been now a week and no one has heard from her. She was supposed to come back on Christmas, but she has ignored everyone. Christmas was ruined because everyone was so worried looking for her. My cousins are now angry and are blaming me and my aunt for ruining Christmas. Her brother, who has just came back to the city, is pissed and literally threatened the whole family. He said that he hated the fact that Elle is alone right now. He left and never came back too. Am I the arsehole, Reddit? Everyone is now blaming me because I apparently convinced everyone. Now, I might be reaching out by saying this straight away, but it sounds like she's depressed. She's like in a deep depression from all those symptoms or what she was saying and the things we've read past and what I've been through too. It sounds like depression to me. And what bloody business was this to do with OP, nosy bastard? He shouldn't have been a part of this at all, getting involved like that. And you got someone who's potentially depressed, kicked out, mentally ill, kicked out of their own home on Christmas, away from their family, away from any kind of support they had. No wonder they bloody disappeared, because they feel like they've lost everyone who may be supporting them. Well done to you. Yes, you are the arsehole in this situation. But Bacon, Egg and Cheese says, you're the arsehole. This was none of your business to begin with. I have no idea why you think you should have any input in where Elle stays or lives. Your behaviour is bizarre and I recommend you have your own mental health assessed for narcissistic personality disorder. Your behaviour is not normal and not okay. And Karen Donna says, you're the arsehole hugely. Leave aside your judgment of Elle's physical health problems, though you have no way of verifying that your judgment of Elle is correct. There is a strong evidence here of deep depression, so you barge in, take over her home, oust her from her bedroom, and then banish her from the family gathering. That is such a cold and callous thing to do. When someone is depressed, there are times when they really long to be around family and pretend for a little while that they are loved and part of things, but even when the family is kind, it can be hard to be out for extended periods of time, and you left her with no safe space to retreat to. It doesn't sound as though your family is very kind. It also sounds like you know how cruel you were being. And quotes, everybody loves her, but she was not needed, and should have just been thrown out at Christmas. This does not sound much like love to me, and it just makes me wish I could find her somehow, drag her home to my family, and make her feel just a little bit cared for. And Panicalade says, you're the arsehole, not a single thing of that was your business. You ruined multiple people's Christmas because apparently you're afraid and ignorant of what introversion and depression actually entail. You're correct that she's probably quite unwell, and an arsehole because you made her issues about yourself to get your own way. Is this really the sort of person you want to be? Bravo if so. The world doesn't need any more entitlement though. And the Fire Monkey says, you're the arsehole, Elle is clearly ill. Some people have commented about depression, but that does not make your vision go black every time you stand up, or bruise easily. It sounds like Elle may have a serious unmanaged or poorly managed physical disease in addition to, or the cause of, some depression. You are not obligated to want to spend time with Elle, but campaigning to deprive Elle of a support structure on the holiday sucks. Campaigning to deprive the people who always want her attention of her company, even the small amount they get on the holiday sucks. If Elle's behaviour in response to her illness are hurtful, she has to own that, but pretty much everything you describe is the behaviour of someone who does not have the physical or emotional resources to do more. Your family has asked Elle to seek medical treatment, and you imply she has not gone. She has to own that decision. And the sort of the vision going black every time they stand up, I kind of put it to like depression and, you know, not eating enough. I did go for a stage myself when I was going through some sort of depression that I wasn't eating enough either, and you know that does happen, you know. But also that comment may be right too, so there could be a whole host of things going on here. But what do you guys think of this story? It's incredibly heartbreaking that someone's going through that right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now once again guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you have enjoyed today's stories, and if you have, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And if you want to support the channel further, although no pressure to do so, absolutely not, you can click that join button down below for YouTube, or head on over to Patreon where there's different tiers you can join up there. All very, very much appreciated, but no requirement to do so. It's just, you know, it's up to you. Thank you once again for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Take care guys, much love.